here we are, the final stretch, the final Friday film for the franchise. Friday the 13th Remake from 2009. Now, right off the bat, I'm kinda happy that it's not a remake of the original one, dealing with Pamela Voorhees. Instead, they give you a little opening to where Pamela's already done all her destruction and everything, and her head gets cut off and Jason watches it happen. Then after all these campers get killed near the beginning, then it gives you the title and then it throws you into the story. The story being a man named Clay, portrayed by Jared Padalecki, is trying to find his sister. She's been missing for 6 months ever since she went up to the camp. While another group of teenagers are going up to the camp because this one guy's parents own a cabin up there, and they're going to party and everything. This will be a shorter review because, with it being a remake, there's a lot of things they tried, but I don't think they tried hard enough. Now this is why. The killing and everything and the acting is very well done. Just, I kind of have to agree with my mom on this. Jason does seem a little too smart for a kid who grew up and raised himself on his own in a broken down cabin house in Crystal on the campgrounds, He knows to sharpen his weapon. He knows how to set up traps with ringers that ring bells in his lair so he knows if people are around. Shooting a bow and arrow, knowing if someone's hiding, which is some of the classic Jason stuff. But, if he was only living, in the camp and everything, some of that stuff, unless he read books or something, he really could not, could be self-taught, but not to the degree of how he can do it. Next, there's plenty of cattle fodder in this movie. There is a lot of people who die. Good amount of teenagers who end up biting the dust and everything. And even though Jason does use a few different types of weapons in this one, he mainly uses his machete. Now, his machete is classic. However, the machete was used a lot in the movies, but he also implicated anything else he could find. Pitchforks, bars, shovels, knives, harpoon guns, his own bare hands. But mostly in the movie, besides using an axe, axe, and like a coat hanger thing on the back of a door, he mainly uses his machete. How he gets his mask this time, it's a little less iconic, I guess. He kills a guy who was growing weed and looking at porn, and as he kills the guy and goes to grab his bag he had over his head, he notices the mask and decides to put that on instead. Okay, that's cool, he got his mask back. Near the end, Clay, Jared Padalecki's character, finds his sister, and they're the only two left standing. And this time, Jason goes down, I get it, it's supposed to be a remake and everything, goes down way too easily. He almost gets hanged, and that doesn't work. So he gets the chain caught in a wood chipper to where it's choking him, but not ripping him through the wood chipper, and then he gets stabbed directly through the middle of the chest with his own machete. And instead of pushing his dumb ass into the wood chipper, they just dump him into the lake. And, throw the locket, which was a locket that his mom wore, and in the picture, the guy's sister looks a lot like a younger Pamela Voorhees, so that's why Jason kept her alive. And with that aspect of the movie, that was a nifty change, because like in Friday the 13th Part 2, the one girl was able to fool Jason and make him think she was his mother until he saw her head. And so Jason can fall for stuff like that. And so, this woman, you might not be my mother, but you look like my mother, and it's nice to have you around. Right after they push him into the water, Clay goes to touch his sister, and Jason breaks out from the thing, grabs her, and then it's screen blacks. And with a movie like that, do not give a cliffhanger unless you're sure that you're going to do another sequel to this. You know, Paramount and New Line both worked on this, but I'm guessing after this, Paramount decided and they bought back their rights for the film series, and they might do a sequel to this one or anything. It's not bad. It just doesn't give anything new to the franchise. Jason X took him into space. Jason Goes to Hell, made him be able to possess people because he was almost dead and it's the only way he could keep himself alive. Part 5, even though it wasn't Jason, it was a guy who was almost like Jason and could take a lot of stuff like Jason. So, with this one, it was, okay, he's back at the lake and he's just killing people because they're on his property. No new innovation, no new things to move it forward with. Sometimes you've got to take a chance to get something really good to work. And New Line Cinema and them, they did not give this a chance. It's a good movie. It's way better than Part 8. And it's actually better than Part 5. It's not better than Part 6. And it's not better than Part 9 or 10. Those ones are still really, really great movies. But it is a toughie. I got it. My final verdict on Friday the 13th, the remake 2009, which is actually a remake of Part 2, would be 6.9 out of 10. It is right there into the middle area of the levels where it's not a completely awesome movie. It's better than 5, and it's better than 8 in all ways, but it didn't give anything new to the franchise, but it was still good. It still had some of the classic elements to it. So actually, you know what? No. I'm going to go with a 7. 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Yeah. A 7 out of 10. Where, it's not as good as it could have been. It still has, great hack and slash to it. It's got a nifty premise that they probably should have worked at a little bit more. And even though it's the same as what we saw before with no new innovations, it's still a pretty good movie within the franchise to watch. It wasn't bad. The guy who played Jason did a really good job. The actors were really good and everything. And you're happy to see people get picked off one by one, and the whole thing with the girl looking like his mother could have been explored maybe a little bit more if they would have made the movie just a little bit longer. I think that would have been cool. And the cliffhanger at the end, don't do a cliffhanger unless you for sure know that you're going to be able to do another movie. Do not do a cliffhanger. But yeah, even 7 out of 10. Way better than Part 8. Not as good as 10, Jason X, way better than 5, but, if you don't want to ruin 10, don't watch the remake, wait for Paramount to come out with their remake or their sequel. They only own the rights now, so maybe, without Michael Bay's influence and everything, they can bring the franchise back. Well, here's hoping. Thanks for watching. And have a more phenomenal day. And guess what? Done with the Friday series. You can check out the entire series on my channel, or there will be a link down below to take you to the playlist for my Friday channel. My channel for the Friday 13th reviews.